It's time for Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network. Tiger Talk, live from Tiger Club inside the Robins Center on the Fort Hays State Campus, is brought to you by these premier Tiger sponsors. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, banking one story at a time. The Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, expertise, technology, compassion, all right here. BTI, your John Deere dealer with locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family in partnership with your family. Eagle Radio, Hull Broadcasting, and HayesPost.com, keeping our community connected. And The Taco Shop. Order by phone or use the Taco Shop app. Dine in, pick up, or delivery. The Taco Shop. You've never had it so good. Now, Tiger Talk with the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Wellbrock.
And a good afternoon, and welcome to Tiger Talk. We are live at the Robins Center on the Fort Hays State University campus, part of Tiger Club, and we're certainly glad to have you with us here this afternoon. We've got a fun show lined up. It's going to be pretty much a basketball show today as we get you set for the NCAA tournament. Both the Tiger men and women will be moving on to play. The ladies on Friday afternoon. They've got the first game of the Central Regional hosted by Pittsburgh State as they will open up against Southern Nazarene out of the Great America Conference, the school that hosted the regional last year. And we'll be talking with Talia Cars about the MIAA tournament and about the regional here a little bit later on in the program. Then we'll talk with men's coach Mark Johnson, of course, MIAA tournament champions, and they open up with MSU Moorhead out of the Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference at 2:30 on Saturday. And we're also going to get kind of an overview for fans who may be thinking of going to both games. Athletic Director Curtis Hammock, he's going to come in. We were going to talk to Justin Wicker, the baseball coach. They've got a baseball series at home this weekend, so they're kind of busy getting ready for that. And we'll get him on here a bit later on in April. So Curtis is going to join us, and we'll get hopefully answer any questions you may have as far as the regionals and where to watch, where to listen, if you want to go, to get tickets and all that fun stuff. Before we get to that, though, I want to give you a quick update. Of course, the MIAA basketball tournament, another great event. Tiger men and women both got to the championship game. Men won that thriller 72-71 over Central Oklahoma. The women losing a tough one to Pittsburgh State. Second year in a row they've fallen to the Gorillas in the championship game, but a great tournament and a great run by all. Telexa Weeder and Katie DeGarmo named to the all-tournament team on the women's side. Kyle Grill and Caleb Hammock on the men's side. Caleb was named the most outstanding player. We'll no doubt talk more about that with the coaches here in a little bit. National championship for the wrestlers going underway this weekend in Indianapolis. Of course, Terrius Henry at 197, Matt Rodriguez at 184 will be competing. You can go to the Fort Hays State Athletics website, find out more details when the matches are, and able to watch the live stream. The women finished 20th at the NCWWC Championships in their first year. No All-Americans, had 3 get really, really close, but a good start to the women's wrestling program this year in their first official season as collegiate wrestling. Fort Hays State baseball, another great weekend. They hosted number 25 Missouri Southern, and they take 2 out of 3 from the Lions. They won the opener Friday 11-7, lost a tough one, rallied, but lost 12-10 in game 2 of the series it was on Saturday. Then Sunday, as they pushed that back a day, Sunday they lost 12-10, and then Monday put 9 on the board in the bottom of the 8th inning for a 13-2 8-inning run rule win. So they're now 13-5, off to an 8-1 start in conference play, and they're back at home this weekend. A lot of games front-loaded here in conference play. Third straight series at home for baseball. This time it's number 29 Central Oklahoma. They'll play at 3 o'clock on Friday, 2 o'clock on Saturday, and then wrap up the series at 1 o'clock on Sunday. So a second straight ranked opponent coming to town. Another good test for the Tigers. Again, that will be taking place this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Larks Park. Softball, they got off to a good start to conference play, 3-1. They hosted Central Missouri Saturday, swept the Jennies 6-5 and 5-4. Then on Sunday, split with Missouri Western, lost the opener 8-0, won the second game 4-1. Now a stretch of non-conference. They're actually out in Colorado Springs. Yesterday split with UC Colorado Springs, lost 8-0, won 5-1. They're going to be right back out there today, this time taking on Adams State. In fact, just getting underway here shortly, and you can follow that on the FHSU Athletics website. And then Sunday they're at home. They've got a doubleheader with the University of Mary, Division II out of North Dakota. And then next Tuesday they'll be hosting Northwestern Oklahoma State at home. So a chance to see the Tigers in some non-conference action. And real quick, golf got underway. The men and women at the Hillcat Classic, hosted by Rogers State. They golfed in Owasso, Oklahoma. The men finished 5th. The women were 7th. Cooper Scheck and Cole Streck both in the top 10. They were tied for the lead after day one. Didn't have quite as good of days on Tuesday, but Cooper ties for 3rd. He finishes 2 under par, and Cole finished 10th with rounds of 71, 67, and 77. Shayla Nordland finished 15th at 14 over to lead the Tiger women. So a lot going on as we move from winter to spring sports, and I kind of get you up to date with everything happening in Tigerland. Do want to remind you, no Tiger Club, which means no program the next 2 weeks. The 19th, next week spring break, and then the 26th, a facilities conflict. So we will not have a show the next 2 weeks. We'll get back in April to start our spring sports segment. Kansas Department of Transportation, the Drive to Zero Coalition. They all invite you to join fans of the plan. If you're going to be drinking, always designate a sober driver. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, Athletics Director Curtis Hammocky will join us. We'll get you set for the regionals in Pittsburgh and Topeka as we continue on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
He bobbles it to the 10-5, touchdown.
Into the edge, and Hayes High's going to win this football game. Johnny Rigler is on the spot.
Fire up the 3, and they can hold us. It swirls.
Launches a 3, bang, nothing but net.
Second, it's dropped in left field, and we are tied as 5 touchdowns.
He didn't get that. Hayes High wins in overtime.
Lobs it over the top to Telexa, catches, dribbles around Shoffin. She put it in and got fouled. Telexa Weiner with 9 and a chance for a 3-point play. Yeah, that was some of the action from, last Thursday. The Tiger women beating Central Missouri. Telexa, what a day for her. 35 points, a career high. She had a great tournament and was named to the tournament's all-tournament team. We'll obviously talk more about that with Coach Cars here in just a little bit. Need to remind you, Tiger Talk is brought to you by the Taco Shop. You can order by phone or use the handy Taco Shop app. Dine-in, carry-out, delivery. The Taco Shop, you've never had it so good. We're thrilled to have Fort Hays State Athletic Director Curtis Hammocky with us. Like to get an update with everything going on. Unfortunately, Fort Hays State not hosting a regional this year, but as we kind of talked before we went on here, they're both in the state of Kansas, which is rare and a great opportunity for Tiger fans to catch the Tigers in action in the NCAA.
Yeah, you're right, Gerard. It's the next best thing to hosting is we at least proximity is on our side a little bit. Normally where it seems like we're up in Minnesota or in Texas or Oklahoma for the regionals, and so to have them here in Kansas at least, the men playing in Topeka at Washburn and the women down in Pittsburgh State is a good opportunity for maybe some of our fans to be able to make it down to the facilities and see these games live. So we're looking forward to that. Obviously, the schedule we've sent out, and it's on our website and the like, but the women open up Friday at noon down there, and then the men open up Saturday at 2:30. So excited about both those. We had a really fun weekend in Kansas City last weekend, and so taking the momentum off of that and looking forward to getting going.
As fans who may want to make those trips to Pittsburgh and to Topeka, anything they particularly need to know about getting tickets and all that good stuff?
Yeah, thanks. First thing I want to mention is in visiting with both regional calls, there's concerns over hotel space available down there, so want to make sure people are mindful of that and aware of it as they make plans to go. Both Pittsburgh and Topeka have other events going on in town that are making things a little bit challenging. But don't want that to discourage anybody from going. I think it's more likely to find rooms for one or two than it is for the team, so that there's certainly still some availability there. But one thing I want to bring up is you can go on their websites and get tickets in advance, but there's no concern over tickets really at either venue, because you can go in and buy tickets for around $10, and then we have the change-out seats available each time, like we do at the MIAA tournament. So each time our team is playing at either site, we'll have 150 seats directly behind our bench. So at least during our game. Now, after our game's over, then you have to find somewhere else to sit in the facility. But there's no real concern over having a good seat for the Fort Hays games at either venue. So you can purchase tickets at the gate and get right in there and get behind our bench to watch us play. So that's a good setup in that regard. Video streaming is another thing I wanted to bring up. I think for those who have been watching games in the video stream in the past, you should be able to do it similar to what you have, and that's get on the Fort Hays website, scroll down the schedule down to the game that's being played, and it'll say watch live, listen live, those options, and click on watch live there. And I'm hopeful that's going to work out just right, and you're going to pop right into the game from there. But I think if that's a challenge, then you can certainly get on the side of either Pitt or Washburn and find it that way as well. And of course, as always, we have the best play-by-play guy in the country, Gerard Welbrock, calling these games. So there's always that avenue for you to make sure you can keep. But we'd love it if some of you can make it to the games, and that'd be a lot of fun as well.
And I do believe the live stream will be free this year, because last year it did go through a paywall. And we'll put a plug. It'll be produced by Pittsburgh State in Pittsburgh, by Washburn in Topeka. But if you want to try to sync up our radio with the video, you download the TuneIn app. And so a lot of people may have that for streaming already, but download the TuneIn app, then just search for KJLS or Mix 103. And you want to make that a favorite. Then on game day, you pull it up. We're a little delayed from live, but it's usually ahead of the video stream. So right after the tip-off, or maybe after a big play, pause the video stream or the audio on TuneIn. Let the video catch up to that play, and then unpause, and you can sync it up. I actually did that last year when we were up in Minnesota, and the women were in Oklahoma, and for that first-round game, and synced up perfectly, and listened to Dustin doing that one. So that's an option if you want to hear our broadcast, because it'll be local guys from those two markets doing the game. A way to do that. Certainly encourage you if that's what you would like to do. So a way to listen and watch, because I know a lot of people like to watch it as well.
Yep.
Anything else they need to know?
I think, if you go to the end of the tournament, certainly you look at Monday night and Tuesday night, and that's where both the tournaments are going to culminate to. So the women's championship game will be at 7 o'clock Monday night in Pittsburgh, and the men's championship game is Tuesday night in Topeka at 7. Okay, that's the end results of both those tournaments. So keep that in the back of your minds as we get through the weekend. But again, quick summary of the weekend. The women play Friday at noon, and then they would play Saturday at 5. Men play Saturday at 2:30, then they play Sunday at 5. So just keep in mind that the process and what's going on there, and looking forward to seeing what we can do moving into this tournament.
A lot of fun, and as the head guy, the AD, it's got to be pretty exciting. Have both teams in it again, second year in a row.
Yeah, it's really a neat thing to get both teams into the finals. You watch all those teams in the MIAA tournament go home throughout the week, and all of a sudden the dust settles, and our two teams are still around, and that's a really neat experience, and extra special when you go ahead and win that thing. And I think I was so happy for our men this year. I've watched that group of people get their hearts torn out a few times over the years. I know Mark said multiple times, and so I'd be lying to say I didn't have a little tear in my eye the other day.
You weren't alone. And kudos to the Tiger fans.
Yeah.
And we're not surprised. They show up every year, but what a great atmosphere for really all the Tiger games in Kansas City.
We had a great turnout. It was really a lot of fun, as it always is. But, this was certainly special. So looking forward to moving forward from that and taking that momentum forward.
Sounds good. Curtis, anything else you need to add?
I don't think so. I was going to mention
yes, Region 6.
We do have unrelated, just for the basketball junkies out there, if you're stuck in town, this kind of runs parallel with our tournament, so I don't want to bring it up too much, but we are going to host here at the Coliseum, for those of you here in town and want the community to know, the Junior College Region 6 basketball tournament, and there'll be 4 games here on Friday. It alternates women, men, and starting at 1 o'clock. And then the finals will be Saturday afternoon at 3 and 5 in Gross Coliseum. That's the Region 6 basketball championships, which is the state of Kansas junior colleges. So that's kind of an exciting deal to watch too. If we weren't playing, I'd kind of watch that, but we are playing, so not going to be able to do it.
But yeah, folks, if you want to catch that out, the winners of that go on to the National Junior College Tournament. Curtis, as always, we appreciate it, and I'm sure we'll see you somewhere on the road this weekend.
I'll be seeing you soon.
There you go.
Thanks, Gerard.
You bet. Curtis Hammocky, Athletics Director at Fort Hays State University. Appreciate him with us today, getting you ready for the NCAA tournament. And as you get ready for the NCAA, you may not get it in time, but you can always prepare ahead for the future by looking your best on Tiger Game Day, and you do so by going to get the official Nike gear from BSN Sports and the Sideline Store. Go to FHSUathletics.com, click on Shop, and that's where you'll find hundreds of items and products, and it's cool because they're all customizable. FHSUathletics.com, click on Shop, and open up the Tiger Team Store. We'll take a break. More to come on Tiger Talk. This is the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
Being a foster grandparent has definitely given me a purpose in life.
Just been so happy, just so much more energy than being at home alone doing nothing but watching TV. It's the best part of my life.
Best part of being a foster grandparent volunteer, watching the light up in the kids' eyes.
I'm living again, and the foster grandparent did that for me.
Seconds to play. Hart yo-yos with the dribble. He's going to go to work on Hammocky. He'll blast, Euro step, kicks it over. Wallenberg a 3, off the rim, rebound, tipped around. It's over! It's over! Fort Hays State wins it! The Tigers win it! They're on to the NCAA tournament! That never gets old. We're joined by head coach Mark Johnson. Congratulations. That was fun.
Yeah, it was a great experience. And like I said, I've watched that. I've heard your call now for the second or third time. And as a coach, when you're in the game, you zone everything out. I don't hear the crowd. But we had a great turnout, and the crowd was into the game. And for my health, it would have been nice to be up 20 with 3 minutes to go. But to win it that way makes it even better. So it was a great thing for our guys, and really happy for our group. Like Curtis had mentioned earlier, these guys have been heartbreak. And I was really happy, too, that Gabe Peschel and Jared Vidston were there because they're a part of a lot of this, too. I wish Elijah and Beat could have been there, too, because with Trey and Caleb, this group has really been a special group over this last 5 years. So it was good that the guys were there. And like I said, it was great. I was really happy Jared and Gabe got to take pictures out on the court with the guys, too.
And there's so many things, and we'll get into it here. Watching the celebration after the game, one guy that stood out to me was R.J. Crawford, because I don't know if folks appreciate what he has been going through with that back, and just to play to the level he has, and he looked as excited, and maybe the first time I've really seen him smile in a long time, because he's been dealing with the pain and just the frustration he's not been able to play to his level, and just to see that excitement and just happiness from him, I thought was incredible.
Yeah, we had a lot of emotional guys, and I'm getting older. Obviously, we all know you get older, you get a little more emotional than but for our young guys to be emotional, and I think RJ won twofold. His back has really bothered him, but he had a nice career going at Southwest Baptist. But he wanted to go do something different that was more meaningful in his mind, going somewhere where people care, there's fan support, crowd support, and had the potential to do something better than maybe SBU was going to be able to do. So I think, the big thing he told me after the game is like, this is why I came here for this kind of moment. So I was really happy for him.
Well, a lot of great stories throughout the weekend, and obviously Caleb was Caleb. He was named the tournament's most outstanding player, and I know you touched on the fact he wasn't maybe defensive player of the year. He kind of showed it this weekend, the guys he had to guard and how he did that, and then obviously just leading this team, and his leadership was never more present than it was this weekend.
I was really happy for him. He had a great, if you look at his previous stops at Kansas City, he probably hasn't played as well as he would have liked. But this time around, he was awesome. He was great. Every game, he was tremendous. Played really well. Thought our whole team played well. And I thought that last possession, terminology, whatever. But I mean, we work on midline every day, midline. And that last possession, we did it perfectly and that's one of the we got to stop. And Caleb on the ball, Sean coming over midline. Those two guys are as good as anybody in the country doing that. And then Trey on the backside doing his job was just a fitting way for our guys to win it, to get a stop at the end.
And you got it started in the quarters with Central Missouri, and you scored 67. It was 67-61. That was an offensive explosion for both teams compared to what you witnessed the last time. Had a feeling you'd play better against them, but you got off to a good start in that game, and it just kind of you're able to ride that momentum all weekend.
Yeah, I think sometimes things are just kind of meant to be. I felt like I told our guys we're meant to play Central Missouri. The last time we played them, it was just a debacle. I don't know what else to call it. I mean, it was bad. And our guys wanted to, do that over again against them, and we had more points at halftime than we did in the entire game.
Yeah.
And then so that was just meant to be. And I thought again we played really well.
Got a little scary at the end.
Yeah. I mean, that got real nervous at the end. I mean, it's just I'm like a fan when I see another team's up 22 at halftime. Like, game over, I'll turn it off. They won. But when you're the coach of that team up 22, it stinks worse than being up 5. You're much more nervous coming out up 22 at halftime than being up 5, because I can justify to the crowd why we lost up 5 at halftime. People are going to go, why did we lose up 22 at halftime? So, nerve-wracking, but Caleb hit a big 3 and kind of finished it for us.
And in the Rogers game, you end up winning that one by 18. You hold them to 43, and you've played some really good defense, but in the setting with what was on the line, that was as good as it got on Saturday.
Yeah, and same thing with Central. I'll give Central credit. They made an adjustment second half and just cleared out, played one-on-one, and that's one thing that gives us a little bit of trouble. But when you try to run offense, our guys are just going to, when they're locked in and focused, and I thought that Rogers game, we weren't good, but we were special. We were special defensive that day, and they were trying to run offense, and they just couldn't get it done. And I thought eventually they had enough and kind of, had a hard time continuing, and that's our guys' ability to just, like I said, be relentless on you and never give an inch.
And I know you touched on it, the last 2 tournaments, just some gut-wrenching semifinal losses, and then the 1 year coupled with an upset in the GAC kept you out of the regional. You still got in last year, but knowing you had to win this to extend your season for your team to battle through all that and all the adversity they had throughout the games says quite a bit, and not surprised just seeing this group here the last several years, the effort and everything they gave this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, fall down 7 in the second half, just immediately come right back. I mean, that's, like I said, that's who these guys are, and they're a special group, have been from day one, and it'd be hard to duplicate what they can do as far as effort, toughness, resiliency. Hopefully our young guys in our program are understanding, because they're not there yet, and that's not a knock on them, but they need to learn what these guys do. Trey has 0 points and 0 rebounds, but everything else he does helps you win a game. You know what I mean? And there's other guys that score points and rebound, and then everything they do hurts you to win the game. I mean, so really these guys are just winners, man. That's what they are. They're not the most talented group we've ever had by any means, but they're talented enough, and they're, like I said, they're about the best group of trying to win of any group I've been around. And like I said, I take pride in our program. And I think we try to do that a lot, and we're better than most year after year. We're going to be tougher and more winners than most programs in the country. I truly believe that, and we try to do that. But these guys are just next level over the last 4 or 5 years. So when these guys graduate, it'll be interesting if we can still do that.
Well, it's been fun to watch, and there is more basketball. The Tigers head to Topeka for the regionals as they will begin play on Saturday. Need to remind you, Tiger Talk brought to you by BTI, your John Deere dealer. Locations in Buckland, Gray Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family, in partnership with your family. We'll take another break. More with Coach Johnson right here on Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PWC.
That was another legend on 99 KZ Country. And yes, before that, we had a brand new artist. your home for today's stars and the legends. We play real country. I'm Teresa Trapp. Weather, news, sports, it's all here. We're on Facebook, and there is a listen live link at hayespost.com. Dial us in on your radio at 99.5 FM. KHAZ, Real Country. 99 KZ Country.
Shot clock at 9. Caleb grabs it near midcourt. Thompson just shoved on Lucas. Here's Caleb over to Lucas in the corner grill. Fires a three. Good! He buried it from the left corner. Yeah, big shot there from Kyle Grill. Gave the Tigers the lead. They would need a couple of late free throws from Caleb Hammocky to win the MIAA tournament. Happy for him. He's kind of had up and down offensively, but he hit some big-time shots for you, and obviously none bigger than that three. And that possession the way you moved the ball, Lucas could have maybe forced it, but he was able to draw the defense off by just kind of hesitating a bit and then made the extra pass to Kyle, who was ready for it and buried it.
Yeah, Kyle he's gotten healthy. That calf when he got hit at Emporia really affected him over the last 2 weeks. He's finally, got more able to shoot it, and then he can attack closeouts, which we need that second guy to do that. And then, I think Lucas was really big this conference tournament for us. Even Aiden, I think Aiden, had 5 points a couple times. So I think him and Lucas were really big. That's something we haven't been getting off the bench. And Lucas, again, talking about RJ, and Lucas has been fighting a knee. And Lucas won't admit to it or try to tell you, but that knee is getting a little better. I don't know if the weather warming up has helped Trey and Lucas and RJ or not, but I think they're moving a little better.
Well, no doubt. It was a big three. And I know Kyle's older brother's had a great season at Missouri, was there, so it had to be special for him with big brother in the stands to hit a big-time shot. All right, more basketball for Fort Hays State. Second year in a row, they're on to the NCAA. Heading to Topeka, taking on MSU Moorhead. And it's kind of funny, we were talking about Moorhead a couple of weeks ago, and then they win their conference tournament. Not an easy draw. They're playing really, really good basketball. I think they've won 12 of 13, and that one loss was in overtime. It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, they're really good. Really good. They had some injuries that kind of got them derailed for about 2 weeks in the season. Have those guys back. They're huge. It'll be the biggest team maybe we've ever played. They start 7'1", 6'7", 6'7", 6'7", and then a great 6-foot guard. It'll be interesting. I feel like the advantage, it'll be interesting how this works. You can look at it both ways. Our league plays much harder. We guard a lot better than their league. You go up to Duluth last year, and they're not used to playing our kind of effort and physicality. I would say Moorhead is the most physical, hardest playing team they have up there. So you can look at it both ways. That's their advantage and why they've been winning. They're not going to have that advantage against us. So that's the way we're trying to look at it. Or it could be we're losing our advantage over some of them. But I think it'll be a very physical game. They're physical. We're physical. They play hard. We play hard. We got to be able to contain their guard is phenomenal. He scored 42 in a game. He was, it's a weird, their all-conference point guard got hurt. They pulled this kid's red shirt off halfway through the season, and I think he's averaging 22 a game from day one, and he was the first freshman in their conference to be conference tournament MVP. But he's a really good player, but he's also a young guy, and he hasn't met Caleb Hammocky yet. So we'll see how that goes. He might be really good and be advertised, but I do know we'll bring a little bit extra at him that maybe he hasn't seen all year. So hopefully that'll be an advantage for us.
And hopefully you got a lot of guys who were part of it last year in the heartbreak on the losing on the last second shot to Duluth, and they've tasted an NCAA tournament game, and they feel different. And hopefully, but so did Moorhead. They're in the same regional, but in a sense you've kind of been there now, and that has to help a little bit, I would think.
I would say so. Our guys had a bad taste in their mouth. I was really happy for Sean. I think Sean was pretty emotional when we won the tournament because he was a part of that last year when we had our last second defeat. Unfortunately, Division II, we just do it in a dumb way. We're probably, to me, we're playing one of the top 3 or 4 teams that have a chance to win a national championship, and we have to play them in the first round. I was telling some people, if we were in the Elite 8 in the quarterfinals, we'd probably have a much easier game than our opening round playing Moorhead because we'd be playing someone from a region region that's not even close to being our region. So it is what it is. You got to have to beat everybody anyway, so it might as well be the first round. And but we'll go there, and just like we did conference tournament, our guys are going to go out there and do what we do. And if it's good enough, it's good enough. And if it's not, it's not. But usually when we do what we do, we win. So we'll make it hard on them, and hopefully if we just keep playing like we do, we'll be fine. We really played well. We made some shots, and we continue to play our offense like we did over the weekend. We'll have a great opportunity.
All right, sounds good. Mark, we appreciate it. Well, have a good week of practice, and looking forward to seeing you on Saturday at Lee Arena in Topeka.
All right, thanks, Drew.
There you go. Mark Johnson, coach of the MIAA Tournament champion, Fort Hays State Tigers. He'll be on action at 2:30 Saturday afternoon. We'll, of course, have it on Tiger Radio, Mix 103.3. Tiger Talk brought to you by the Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, the most comprehensive orthopedic care in Western Kansas. Let the experts at Hayes Med Orthopedic help you move freely. Learn more at hayesmed.com/orthopedics. We'll take a break. Women's coach Talia Carr's next on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC.
When it comes to screen printing and embroidery, your first choice should be Redeem Designs in Hayes. Turn it up with Redeem Designs, where it's not just about the products, it's about the partnership. At Redeem Designs, you're part of the process. They work closely with you to ensure your vision comes to life. So turn up your 2024-25 season with Redeem Designs.
Tigers need a bucket. Here's DeGarmo to Wilborn, and she buries a three in front of the bench. Bailey Wilborn's third three-pointer, 70-62. Tigers by 8, under 2 to go now. That was some of the action for the semifinals against Missouri Western on Saturday. The Tiger women getting to the championship, unfortunately unable to get by Pittsburg State in that title game for a second year in a row, but finished runner-up in the tournament, and they're on to Pittsburgh for the Division II Central Regional. I'd remind you that Tiger Athletics is proud to partner with the Kansas Drive to Zero Coalition. They encourage you to join Tiger fans with a plan. Always have a designated driver or other sober ride to and from your destination. And today's program presented by Golden Belt Bank. Your life has a story. Golden Belt Bank wants to get to know that story. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis. Visit them at goldenbeltbank.com. Coach Talia Carr's with us. Fort Hays State gearing up for another NCAA tournament bid. Let's talk about the tournament a little bit, the conference tournament. Great run, and unfortunately just really a bad first half against Pittsburg State. Give them credit. I thought they played well, and it just felt like maybe you were, I don't know, half step behind something and just too big of a hill to climb, I guess, for your squad after you fell behind in that one.
Yeah, no, I thought we came out, Pitt came out really aggressive and really physical, and we tried to match that physicality, I think, and then we didn't quite get the calls that we wanted in matching that, and then we tried to do things that don't work for us. And so offensively especially, we were trying to force shots that we didn't need, and I thought we missed our inside kids a lot to start the game, just to give us easy baskets. And so a little bit uncharacteristic of us compared to how we've been playing the last couple weeks, I thought. And offensively, we just need to get back to what we are capable of doing, and everybody needs to do what their job is, and then on the defensive end, we just needed to play better defense. We didn't guard off the dribble very well. We guarded the three-point line okay, but didn't guard the off the dribble super well. On the flip side, though, and I guess that's what you maybe, I'm sure, take into this NCAA tournament, you're down big in that fourth quarter. I mean, the game was over, and you made it interesting, and give Pitt credit. They stepped up. They had 3 huge threes down the stretch. If they miss one of those, who knows? You got it, I think, down to 6, and they hit a 3 to go up 9. And then when Gerber stepped out and hit it, who had hit none in her season and shot only 2, you kind of knew it. But your team, I thought, figured some things out. You got some stops, and then offensively, you really got rolling, and you had a good second half offensively. Yeah, we did. We figured out how to score the ball, and then we needed to guard the three-point line better late in the game, and then we definitely would have been in it. But I was really proud of the girls and how they continued to battle and fight, and didn't have a lot of gas. We definitely ran out of gas, and that was that. I mean, that's part of what the first half was too, is just overcoming that, and then somehow they found energy in that fourth quarter to really just kind of figure out, okay, this is it, I gotta go. And so really proud of them for their effort and their willingness to not give up. I think was huge. You mentioned everybody doing their thing, and you look at the first 2 games. Central Missouri, you scored 90, and then hold on, Missouri Western. I know you mentioned in your post-game press conference, but
everybody did their thing. Bailey hit some big shots. Ellie did what Ellie does and hit a few shots. Just everybody played their game to a high level on both ends of the floor, and you saw the results of that.
Yeah, for sure. I thought our defense was pretty good, specifically with those two. They did a great job of defending Missouri Western and making them have to make hard shots. And then on the offensive side of things, when we're running things offensively and just moving the ball where it needs to go, we're hitting those outside shots because they're coming from inside out usually. And you've seen our three-point percentage just kind of really rise because we're taking really good shots. And when our three-point percentage goes down, it's because we're taking hurried shots or shots quick in the offense or something like that. And that's what you kind of saw against Pitt, is I thought we were taking hurried shots or forcing shots instead of taking those really good shots. And that's what I thought we did a good job in those first two games.
And when you do it that way, you can just tell. I mean, their feet are set. They're to shoot. I mean, they're ready to shoot, and you can just tell from the release and the whole motion that they've got a good chance to make those, as to when you say the other ones you're hurried, sometimes their feet aren't set, and that's usually the result.
Yeah, no. When they're ready to go, they're really good shooters, and so we've got to continue to do that and not force those early three-point shots, or even really in the mid-range. We got to get it inside, and if they don't have a shot inside, then you kick it back out, and then we can knock them down.
That actually about Alexa Weeder. She obviously made a name for herself, and she's had a good season, but kind of a coming out on a big stage. 35 points against Central Missouri. That was fun to watch, and you see players. We've seen Caleb Hammocky do that. We've seen others over the time. They get on a roll like that, and you can just see it and you can feel it, and it's just really fun to witness.
Yeah, no, for sure. Especially where her last game against Central Missouri, their size really affected her, and she just really had a hard time kind of overcoming it mentally. And I was just really proud of her for that. Is like coming back out and saying, you know what, I can score on these guys. And I thought she threw everything up. It was going in. So I think the kids ended up stopping rebounding because she wasn't missing. But really proud of her and her mentality going into the game, not being nervous or fearful, but saying, I can do this. I can score on these guys. And I thought she did a really good job.
And then to back it up, because Missouri Western saw that as well, and then to come back and get 20 plus in that game, and as that thing turned out, you needed every one of them from everybody. But it was good to see her back that up the second time out, when she's going to be more of a focal point for everyone.
Yeah, for sure. And she had to play a lot of minutes in that game too. She figured out, and the low post against them, they're not as physical in the low post, and so I think that's her advantage. But she's able to go on the perimeter too, different from Liv, and they have to go guard her out there too. And I thought she just did a good job of exposing that, and then taking their 5-man was worn out and taking her out of the game, and she just continued to battle.
A good job by Katie. If you win the tournament, Katie's probably the MVP. Although Alexa may have given her a run. It would have been interesting. You'd have had one of those two. But Katie had a really solid tournament, as you'd expect her in her last year in the MLL. And ended up becoming the conference tournament's all-time leading scorer and rebounder for a career with the games. I think she did wrap that up on Saturday.
Yeah, no, Katie she does a good job of being all in. You never question Katie's effort on either side of the ball. She's putting herself out there, and definitely hurt her back pretty bad in the first half against Pitt, and was figured out how to battle through it, and she was as good as she was on the second half as she had been the rest of the tournament. And so I was just really proud of her as figuring out, maybe when my shots aren't going in, what else can I do, and she does that really well.
She doing okay?
She is.
All right, good.
Got a massage, so hopefully she's feeling better.
That helps everybody. We could all do that. All right, let's go. NCAA tournament. Southern Nazarene, they hosted it last year. You never played them, but 23-7, obviously a good program out of the GAC. What can you tell us about your first round opponent, the Crimson Storm?
Yeah, their starting 5-man is really good, as good as we've seen this year probably, but they don't have a backup. So really just focusing on her as far as making her have to guard us, making her have to run the floor a lot, but she's very, very talented. And then their point guard does it similar to Western's, honestly, a tiny little guard that moves really fast, and she plays a lot of the game too. And then have an off guard that's a really good shooter, can really create for herself, and tiny little guards. So gonna have to guard and gonna have to probably face a little bit of a full court press. So just get the ball up the floor and execute and make a good shot.
That sounds good. Looking forward to it. Never gets old when you're in the NCAA tournament. Coach, appreciate the time, and we will see you Friday afternoon in Pittsburgh. I guess Friday morning in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, thanks, Gerard.
There you go. That is head coach Coach Talia Carr's Tiger women play at noon Friday from John Lance Arena in Pittsburgh. Our coverage at 12:35 or 11:35, I should say, on Tiger Radio Mix 103.3 and the Tiger Sports Network. And then the men play at 2:30 on Saturday. We'll have that on KGLS, and then we'll be joining the women's semifinal game right after that. After their win on Friday, we'll be joining that right after the men's game. Hopefully a lot of basketball here the next 5 or so days starting on Friday. It's going to wrap up the program. Again, a reminder, no show next Wednesday or the following Wednesday. We'll talk to you again in April here on the Tiger Sports Network. So long, everyone.
Tiger Talk, live from Tiger Club inside the Robins Center on the Fort Hays State Campus.